Hey everybody, Ben here from Cinder Studios, and today I want to talk about 5 materials that I've bought for the studio that I'm probably never really going to use super extensively, but I've kind of bought them just to have them. So stick around. So every now and then there's sort of a art material or supply, something that kind of catches my attention, and I'm like, I want one of those. What am I going to do with it? I don't know. But I want one. Why? Just to kind of have it. The more as time goes on, I start to kind of realize that being an artist is not so much being a hoarder as much as it is being a collector. And for me, it's a lot of like, what kind of art supplies can I collect? I just want to have as many different kind of materials at my fingertips that I can possibly have. Not that I'm going to be using them every day, but like, I just want to just have access to it if I kind of need it. But at the end of the day, it's like, do I need it? No, but it's fun to have it. And I think highlighting these specific materials, at least for you guys knowing my work, should be kind of interesting. So let's see what I have in here in front of me. So the first one I've got today is Historic Iron Gall ink. Now if you've seen my video on everything you need to know about drawing inks, you'll know that Historic Iron Gall ink, or just simply Iron Gall ink as it was originally known, now it's historic because it's generally not made anymore. No one mass produces this stuff. I got this stuff on Amazon from a guy that specifically makes inks and drawing materials that aren't mass produced anymore, mostly because it's not really cost effective to use them. Iron Gall inks made from traditionally oak galls, which are like these growths on oak trees that I guess secrete some kind of liquid. I don't know. Nobody makes them anymore for a good reason. And then as well as iron filings. The reason why nobody makes Iron Gall ink anymore, except for apparently a handful of craft people who do it on the side for idiots like me that buy this stuff, is because if you use Iron Gall ink on paper, that ink over the course of maybe 50 to 200 years will then eat away at the paper. The iron filings will then rust and just cause like absolute destruction of the paper itself. That's why generally the stuff isn't made anymore. But it was the historical and like the main ink that was used up until like carbon-based inks, the way inks are used and produced today, because you're using whether that be powdered carbon or carbon nanotubes to create both a highly pigmented ink and one that's not going to fade over time and eat away at your paper or anything like that. This stuff, well, this is the old stuff. I like this because of the jar itself. It's a tiny little glass jar made from Scribble Workshop. Again, you can find them on Amazon. You can just search like Historic Iron Gall ink. You can probably find the guy. He makes them in batches. When I bought this stuff, it was like the last of 3. And he also like seals the top of this with wax, which is really, really fun. What's interesting about the Iron Gall ink, one in particular, it smells. It smells almost like alcohol. Really interesting stuff. 2, it's great for dip pens. And 3, if you're actually looking for something that is fun for mixed media projects that maybe you know is going to eat away your surface, that could be like an advantage for you. You can kind of go like, oh, let me do this and maybe do some like spray with water or vinegar and then throw it in the oven and do like an advanced aging thing to actually kind of create that effect. Am I ever going to be doing that? Maybe, maybe not, but it's like now I've got a thing that was used to sign the Declaration of Independence, if you're in the US. They don't make it anymore, but I've got some. Woo! Okay, sorry, I ranted for a while for that one. This one will be shorter, I promise. A couple of years back, I bought this. It's a table brush. I bought this to sweep off my table, my studio table in particular. But I don't really need it. I can use just my hand, I can spray some canned air, I can just shake the sheet or the cardboard off. I don't need to have this. But I remember using one of these in high school in, I think, 2 different classes. One of them was an art class, the other one was actually a architectural design drafting class, which I missed that. That was a really fun class. But I used one of these a lot, and I was like, I want one of these. And it was on my long-term wish list for a long time. And then about, I think, a year and a half ago, I was like, you know what, let's finally pick one of these up. It was maybe $12, which isn't a great price, but it's like, I don't use it a ton. It mostly sits in the corner of the studio, but I love it. I love looking at it. I love that I have it. Okay, so next up is actually paint, because it has to be for me at some point. A certain time ago, I was introduced to the R&F brand oil pigment sticks. Or are they paint sticks? I think they're pigment sticks. Whatever, it's the same thing. These are basically a tube of oil paint, but in your hand and without the need for a brush, a solvent, or any kind of really cleanup. It's basically like an oil paint crayon, and I love it. I started out with just 3 sort of sample tubes in a set that I got, I think, on sale and when I had a little extra money to spend. And slowly I've actually been buying them individually, including the 3 small ones I started with and a couple of these bigger ones. I think I have like 9 or 10 now. And I have done some experimental stuff with them, nothing groundbreaking, just kind of like, let's smear some of this around and then sit it in the corner of the studio because it's oil paint and it's probably going to take like a week or 2 or 3 to dry. So I've kind of used it as just sort of an exploratory medium to kind of play around with the medium a little bit. I like them, I want more of them, but I don't need them. So it's kind of an interesting thing of how can I push color around in a different way when I'm bored enough that I don't want to pick up a brush. I just want to just smear color around by hand. The pigment sticks are sort of my way to do that. Number 4 on this list is the Golden GAC 900. This is specifically a heat set fabric painting medium. So let's say you want to paint a logo or something on a bag or a t-shirt or something like that with the acrylic paints you already have. That's what this stuff is used for. Now, why is this on this list? Well, I use a lot of golden stuff from time to time, so you might be like, alright, it's probably no question you have one of their other multiple mediums. But the thing is, I don't paint on clothing or fabric or anything that would require this more than maybe once every 2 to 3 years. It's so rare that I would ever need to use this, but for the handful of times I've needed it and haven't had it, I've been like, oh, you know what would have been really perfect for this? The GAC 900. So I picked some up maybe like 3 or 4 art studio trips ago, or art store trips ago. And it's like, I've got it now. Do I need it right now? No. Do I need it in the foreseeable future? No. But when I do need it, I'm going to have it. And that's when it's going to be important. And the final thing on this list is kind of a twofer. And it's something I've picked up on a couple of different art supply trips. And it's alabaster. Stone, basically. Carving stones in particular. This is a big rectangular piece. This is a triangular prism-y piece. Do I know what I'm going to do with them? No. But I like having them in the corner of the studio. For a long time I've been fascinated with traditional subtractive sculpture. I've worked with clay before, both additionally and subtractively, but I've always kind of been fascinated with both wood and stone sculpture in the very traditional sense of just starting with a brick of something and just carving it away until you have something that's sculpture. I'm not a sculptor. My brain doesn't work in 3 dimensions. I recently built a shelf for myself here in the studio, and it's lopsided and crooked and wobbly because my brain doesn't think in 3 dimensions. I'm also very bad at measuring. So I was like, at some point, someday, I'm going to do something with these. But what is that thing? I don't know yet. But as long as they're in the studio, as long as I'm looking at them, that's important. And it's like, as long as it's there, I can keep thinking about it and keep thinking about it and keep thinking about it. And when I first picked up this piece, which is the square piece, or rectangle piece, I started looking at, okay, well, I'm going to need some carving tools eventually. And specifically the stuff on Blick's websites, like every one individual tool was like $20 or $30 a piece. I'm like, well, that seems a little insane. I mean, I like Blick as much as the next artist, but at a certain point, it's like, okay, that's too much money. So I went on Amazon a while back and I found this like dozen-piece tool set for like $18. I'm like, well, that's a pretty good thing. And it's just basically like little sticks of metal with a grip and a sharp point that I can then chisel with. Really very reasonable. Is this a good set overall? I don't know. I'm not going to use it now, and I may not use it for another 3 to 5 years. Who knows how long it takes me to get to this kind of project. But at some point, I'm going to carve away and make a stone sculpture. Do I need it? No. Do I need it anytime soon? No. But I love having it. So those are 5 things in my studio that I bought that I don't necessarily use regularly or at all, that I just kind of bought to have because personally I find them very inspiring. If there's anything that you've bought for your studio or things you want to buy for your studio that you know you probably won't use but you just kind of want to try them or just have them around, let me know what those are in comments below. As always, if you found this video interesting, go ahead and hit that like button. Consider supporting on Patreon. Like the page on Facebook, DeviantArt, and Instagram. And this has been Cinderblock Studios, and I will see you guys next time. Also, if you're still here, something I wanted to include on this list that I didn't was the Palomino Blackwing pencil. I didn't include this because I didn't buy it. It was a gift from a friend. But awesome pencil. A lot of history with this since they kind of like discontinued it and started making it again. Do I use it on a regular basis? No, but I love having it and it's awesome. So that's number 6. So yeah, a lot of weird stuff I've got in the studio.